Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Tetcher, and welcome to my first user-submitted replay cast, where simply I cast your replays. If you wish to send in yours as well so that you can appear on this particular show, then you can send the replays to replays@tetcher.co.uk. Replays are very easy to find in the in-game folders, so you should find them quite easy and you can export them. There's a show in folder button, so that's where you can find the one you are looking for. But you send them in, let me know what game mode it is, let me know what rank it is, if it's a ranked game replay, and I will do that. This one was sent in by Jan, also known as Wombu, so we'll be keeping a special eye on him as well. But for now, allow me to hit play and introduce the teams. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Warhead Junction. And spawning on the left-hand side, it is the blue team of Varian, who's being played by Dom, Ariel, who's being played by Tatsuyoshi, as Asmodan, who's being played by Jimbo! Sorry, it's in caps, therefore it must be shouted. Li Ming, who's being played by Popeye, I think. Muradin, who's being played by Vegeta. And on the red side, we have the Butcher, being played by BKMZ. Abatha, who's being played by Kempassi. Johanna, who's being played by Bremser. Brightwing, who's being played by Shadowrock. And Falstad, our hero, who's being played by Wombu. So, starting off, we immediately see Falstad heading straight for the Watchtower. Very accurate move, very good move if you are playing a hero with global potential. Dahaka is the best one for this. This is the fastest to get to the center of the map. So you will often see that happening quite a bit. But Falstad is pretty good as well. We see Muradin very nicely escaping there, making sure he wasn't caught out of position as he rotated through the map. This game is a Gold 3 game. It's apparently the highest that Wombu has managed to get is Platinum 5. So that's a very nice rank there. He's got some good points. We'll keep an eye on him, like we said. For now, though, we currently see no one going to the bottom lane. It's kind of being neglected here. Blue team starting to get themselves a pretty big advantage here. So Wombu making his way down. He did not have his flyer available, so that is why he had to walk down. But with Brightman coming down, they're able to push back Varian and the Ariel, whereas in mid lane, Muradin once again making his second attempt to try and catch the Watchtower, while Johanna and Abatha begin to push back here. And Abatha beginning to create the Wall of Mines, which is a little bit difficult. And I will say, I personally find Abatha to be a bit of a trap hero on this map, due to the fact that it seems like he would be good due to his global potential, but he is a little bit, he's a body less for picking up the nukes, etc. And he isn't that good at soaking the XP because the lanes are too easy to gank. Like, you can come from here and catch him by surprise, or you could come to here. Through here is where the travel locations. It's a bit hard to soak XP, especially in the mid lane with the Watchtower. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Abatha, but that was also mentioned by Wombu in his replay. He is aware of this. This is the Hero League replay, by the way. Let's finally have a look at the talents as the nukes are beginning to spawn. Muradin beginning to put some pressure on. And he started with the third wind here. This, I immediately believe, is a mistake. Like, yes, the third wind is a good talent, but you're against Falstad, who could go see some marksman and did, which is fine, and Butcher, and you didn't take block. This, I believe, is very much a mistake. Butcher going pretty deep onto the big there. Can she get out? Yes, she can. And Muradin with the very nice stun to stop that as well. So, Falstad, with the help of Abatha, beginning to put some pressure onto the Varian right now. Gets hit by the slow. Good barrel roll there, putting himself in a favourable position, immediately turning around and getting some good damage onto the Varian there. He is forced back immediately, but with the healer still there, they're going to get the advantage. But that's fine, because mid lane was taken by the red team. Other talents we can see, Warbringer, of course, for Varian, putting him in a good position in terms of talents picked there. And Butcher taking the cheap shot. Now, this is an interesting one. It's not the average talent, but there's not a huge amount of issues with it. There's not a huge amount of information actually out there about Butcher builds, because he's not in the meta at the moment. Good focus onto the support immediately, but Butcher not following up on it. Butcher would have been way better there, following up onto the Ariel there, as opposed to charging the Varian. So he put himself in a bit of trouble. Asmodan, who started off with Master of Destruction, going for a sieging-based build here as opposed to a slam-based burst build. So he's probably going to be split-pushing this entire game, and that could lead to being problematic for his team in the late game. But this map, as long as you can open a route, all it takes is one fight to get value out of those nukes. We see a nuke dropped in the middle lane. Wombu piecing out as his escape route was cut off, taking the long way around, and he will be back to base. Very nice job there. He could have also vaulted to here and probably been fine and avoided the nuke, but it was still a good move to position himself a little bit safer there. Brightwing entering to the top lane to help Johanna as they push onto Muradin. Asmodee, very early laser, very risky laser there considering how low on mana he is, and as such it forces Vegeta to stay to defend him, and Vegeta takes a lot more damage. He will get away with that thanks to his third wind. Nuke being dropped there by Johanna will do a huge amount of damage, will at least allow him to take up the towers. Butcher killed off, I'm not entirely sure where that happened, it was there. It seems he went up to Varian again, he didn't go on to Ariel once again, second time, that's becoming a problem. Butcher needs to work out where his focus is. Li Ming starting with an orb-based build. This is fine, I think, considering that everyone has to group up for Brightwing's healing, so there's a good chance that you will catch multiple people, but you do have to be very accurate with it. Asmo with the March of Sin, like we said, he's going for a sieging-based build. He wants that lane pushed up, which is why it's actually bad that Muradin's here. Because if Muradin is in the lane, then it's more likely when you have two people in the lane that you will see someone else rotate to actually deal with it. And Wombu, this is actually why I personally believe that this could be a problem, but he has a point that bot lane is currently being massacred. But yeah, I personally believe that if you have someone who's supposed to be split pushing on your team, then you put that person in a solo lane. The reason for that is because, yes, the split pushing is good, and it's going to currently work out here because everyone abandoned this lane, but the split pushing is good, but you're going to put yourself in a position where you're not going to get value because the enemy team is going to rotate up to stop you. Fountain already dead, Abatha already piecing out. Good move by Vegeta here. He knows he still has minions, he has time, so he rotated down to try and chase out the Abatha. In the meantime, Butcher once again finally chasing onto the actual Ariel here. Not going to catch it, but is going to be able to zone this out. This lane still being ignored. Global potential. Faster does not have to fly. He's unable to help here. They're just going to focus on the nukes, but that means this fort is fort fit. And we're going to see both of the top nukes, actually, possibly go over to the blue team. If Asmo rotates there as well, only Asmo, he's out of minions. He's staying far too long here. If Falstad was able to had fly, that person would be doomed. Li Ming pulling back, putting himself in a safer position here, keeping herself out of danger. So, Falstad flying up now to the aggressive nuke. Abatha is already here. That is an aggressive and unnecessary move when you have a Falstad on your team. Falstad could have flown up and grabbed that himself, and that would have been fine. Nuke dropped onto the mid lane, going to get some good value here. We also have the Mule coming in from Abatha, which I suspect will soon be dropped onto top lane. Second nuke, Abatha with the aggressive nuke here. Remember, Warbringer is available, but the good focus from the red team able to zone him out, especially from Wombu with the aggressive barrel roll. You saved your Abatha, you put him in a good position there. He did take the boomerang once again. This talent is for assistance in stacking. With Seasoned Marksman, you can kill minions quicker, and also it's just a little bit of extra burst damage. Right now, chasing down the Muradin, trying to lock him down, but it's Muradin. He jumps away as Butcher already burnt his stun. Not able to get anything, and blue team actually do hit their heroics first. We see Twin Blades of Fury coming in from the Varian here. So he's going for melee assassin build. Crystal Aegis, Demonic Invasion, Disintegrate, and Avatar. So yeah, definitely a split push base build for Jimbo here, who's currently doing some monstrous damage here. He's chasing in, he's still going. Brightwing needs to heal. No, Jimbo got the kill. Bloody hell, well done. And that's an unusual thing to see happen. Brightwing could have maybe saved him with Polymorph, but instead we see Brightwing go down as well. Asmo has disconnected, but it doesn't matter. The value has been got here. So that was a bit of a mistake by the healer there. Healer could have probably got a bit of movement speed buff onto the Asmodee to give him an extra escape, and the Poly to transform the Asmodee to help Johanna escape. Johanna pointing it out, a bit too aggressive. Boom, caught by the Brightwing. I suspect that's probably correct, but I did not see that. You're going to see the nuke dropped down there. We'll see a large amount of damage here, and Asmodee getting some value. Good move by Johanna, immediately moving in. She can tank that damage. She stayed a bit too long though. She should have just moved in to force that laser cancel and then moved out. Now she can move in. Now that the rest of her team has arrived. She needs to try and get some value here. Butcher onto the Asmodee. Good target. Huge body block here. Huge body to actually hit, but just still being focused. Falstad flying in. Gust into his own buildings. That will see Asmo go down to the fort here, to the keep. And now they're continuing to chase on. Varian's going to be a really tough target here. Good stun by Muradin, who for some reason took the piercing bolt, but it did work out from here. Charge onto Ariel this time, but the rest of the team not turning around for the focus. Instead, they're trying to get Li Ming, who's killed off by the mines. Good job, Abatha there with his positioning, matched by Li Ming for not blinking over that. We see Wombu continuing to chase in, doing some damage, but it looks like the chase is finished now. It's going to take the kill count from 4 to 4 versus 3 in favor still of the blue team, but that keep has been seriously damaged, and Mule being used on the fort instead of the keep. And that's okay. I would personally prefer on the keep because the keep's more important. It's very much important to keep your keeps alive because a single nuke will put this keep in danger of being killed off, especially by Asmodan. And Ariel, Li Ming would in theory be able to do that, especially Muradin as well. So, nuke. Going to be available in the bottom lane. We see a lot of heroes for red team available in this area, whereas blue team have some good focus in that area as well. Johanna, not helping her team at all, is just grabbing mercenaries. That is a mistake. She should have very much cancelled that and put her focus on the nuke, unless they had full vision the enemy team, which they did not. So instead, we're going to see the nuke go over. She will get away with it here, and we will see our red heroes here grab the nuke from the bottom lane, and that will allow them to kill off this fort. Especially if they put some focus on the minions, nuke will kill those off for starters. They need to start focusing this. Muradin on his own is not enough to defend this. Falstad's going to be back, so he wants to try to defend top lane. Butcher will finish this off, but it's taken far too long. Falstad would have easily been able to kill that off and still get his B off in time due to how slow this push in the top lane is and why that it doesn't have any nukes. They use them on the top lane due to Falstad repairing it. We now see Disintegrate coming in. That's going to cause a bit of siege damage. Johanna doing some good job using her health pool effectively. Going to tank a lot of damage here and assist in clearing out those demons. The demon's currently the scariest part here. She can also get a good Cadell. She's focusing on to Jimbo because Jimbo, that laser, is the highest siege damage that we do see out of the blue team here. Muradin has been killed off because he stayed to defend the bot lane too long, and the double Butcher did come in for the aggression here. Johanna once again sieging back, and this is easily enough defense and enough poke, especially for Falstad, to force them back. And Johanna, exceptional use of her health pool there, although she needs to get out of there as well as Falstad, as that Detainment Strike was very, very good, and they also need to be careful of the Warbringer. Banner of Ironforge, though, is going to make this very, very difficult, and we see those orbs doing some crazy damage thanks to the glass cannon talent coming in from Li Ming, which is fine. Good Detainment Strike once again. Big shout out to the Ariel here, Tasuyoshi, who's just being dominant here, alerting the mercenaries as well to harass the Johanna. Absolutely beautiful play. Now they're going to chase onto the Asmodan here, and as such, Ariel will sneak away here. An ultimate being dropped here to take out Jimbo. There's the slow does not hit, actually. Jimbo in full retreat. There's the Condemn. Can they finish him off? Hammerang does hit here, and we will see Asmodan get taken out. Nicely played. Good chase by Johanna there using the Falling Sword. It's a big cooldown to drop, but it does work. 60 seconds, not the biggest in the game, but in the grand scheme of things, hitting multiple heroes with that is perfect. Hitting one hero just to guarantee a kill is good enough. That is 100% fine. It's all good. So Falstad with the Giant Killer needs that help to take down the Muradin. It could also help on Varian and Asmo, who do have above average health pools, so that is completely fine too. And we do see the Abathur going not with the Sober Transference, instead with the Spatial Efficiency. And this I am a fan of. Also, sorry, it's, yeah, that is the correct time. So yeah, go with the Spatial Efficiency here. The reason I'm okay with this is because the Butcher is not doing too well in terms of survivability, and the Sober Transference is not going to help him here, and also equipment for regenerative microbes, so that Sober Transference isn't going to get as much value. With this talent, the Spatial Efficiency, they get more value versus Ariel, who took Glass Cannons. The extra percentage damage allows for the damage here. We will see that clone just get absolutely destroyed. This boss still going to take it down. We will see Varian able to tank that pretty efficiently himself. Falstad with the Mighty Gust available needs to get in there, but they have no vision. Falstad moving in. Where's the Gust? There it is, but it's too late. The Falling Sword coming in for the follow-up, so maybe they can get some kills out of this. Already the Aegis is dropped. Wombu standing in all the Banelings here. Such a step is important. You should micro away from that, position yourself more efficiently, and he does get taken down. Shadowlock also going to be chased down here and finished. Obviously, was the only one left alive, except for Butcher, who was managed to push top lane with the nuke he was able to pick up, and Abathur, who grabbed the nuke from bot lane and got out. That's the advantage of Abathur. He is a global hero. You can get some good value that way, but remember, his clone cannot drop the nuke. He has to drop it in his normal body. So, Juggernaut going to come out here. Now, this I'm not really a fan of because it's only really going to affect Johanna and not anyone else. I think there are better talents for this level in terms of the extra damage you can output. Including, considering that they are up against Johanna, I personally think the Shield Burst talent could be huge here, because that's just going to annihilate any of Johanna's shields and really remove the tanky potential that she's been able to show off so well. We see the extra orb stuff coming in for Li Ming, which gives her a lot more harassment, allows her to just get a huge amount more value out of just the crazy damage she's doing already. And Dom is to have stayed too long, drops the resistance barrier, which gives him a lot of stuff, but he's already walked out of it. He now needs to move back into it. If he was going to turn around and fight, he should have done it when he was still in the barrier. Instead, he got himself killed off all the quicker here. Boss will go down, but that is but before it does any damage to the key. So good defense by the red team here. Butcher, being sneaky, he's going to be spotted by Popeye here. He's going to take a lot of damage. Get out of there, Butcher. He may be dead. He's going to go in. He's going to try and drain. Gets the silence. That's perfect. Nicely played there. He will barely survive the mercenaries who were still attacking him during that. He's on the run. Brightwing is here to try and help him. Here comes Falstad. They can try and turn it around here, and that is the value of globals. Getting these really map-wide ganks, really. Mercenaries are aggroed. Doesn't matter, though. Aria will get taken down. The slam does nothing because it didn't take any of the extra damage talents. The Taste for Blood, which you should not pick on this map, or the Sieging Wrath, which would have been fine. But huge value there. Butcher playing very risky, like most Butchers do, just too aggressive in general. He should not have been that far forward, but completely saved by the global potential from his team. Once again, Abathur. This is something that a lot of Abathurs don't do, and I personally believe is the correct play. Down goes Johanna there, and as such the team should retreat, especially Abathur. Get the hell out of there. But Abathur chose his engagement. Oh, nicely done by the Butcher there. Actually got some good value. But the way the Abathur played that is a lot of Abathurs. They try to work out where the enemy team is and then rotate down to that area. And basically they drop their nukes that way. They basically backdoor their nukes, which isn't a huge amount of value because you don't know if you're ever going to get to that lane again. What Abathur is doing is he's making sure that his team, including his tank, are in front of him and then dropping it with his team. Now, the only way the enemy team are going to get value out of that is if they can dive the entire team, which could be countered in theory with an ultimate evolution, which is completely fine. So props to the Abathur for some innovative play in terms of how he actually keeps himself safe by actually moving towards the highest amount of enemy players possible. However, using an ultimate evolution when you're that close to an enemy base is a mistake, and as such, Abathur will get punished. You should not do that. You should always you should always burrow back first. You should always make sure that when your ultimate evolution finishes, you're in a safe location. The only exception to this is if you're using ultimate evolution to escape and you're letting your global allies actually come to help. Falstad with the Afterburner here. This is fine. Like, this was very much personal preference talent. I personally think that the slow is a little bit better, but this is 100% fine. Criterize on the Brightwing, helping burst down that Muradin, who's getting focused pretty nicely here, who also took the Burning Rage and not the Healing Static. That is a mistake by Muradin. He's really limited his CC potential here. Falstad, look at this zoning potential here, coming out of blue team, but Brightwing too far forward, getting himself caught out again. Now, all the reliance is on Falstad, who gets the Gust. They get the steal. No cleanse, no Aegis, nothing dropped to help them tank through that. Big mistake there by the Ariel, who's done so well so far. She doesn't have cleanse as an option, but the Aegis would have absolutely guaranteed that they were able to protect that, and as such the mistake was made and they were unable to get it. Falstad, get a piece out. He's already managed to get the boss, and he is going to challenge. He should be the one to challenge Channel. Abathur, stop it. Stop it. Abathur. Oh, Falstad did get it. Nicely done, Falstad. So, Falstad with some really good play there. That boss steal was on point, putting them in a great position. It will be killed off quickly because Azmodan is going to be able to burn through that with his laser. He's going to be low on mana, which is going to force him B, but he's right next to his base anyway. It's not a huge deal. Mercenaries grabbed by Butcher. They spot Li Ming, who can't make it over that wall. Li Ming, that was an aggressive move. Unfortunately, that does mean Lance of the Slaughter is burned. And we do also see that Abathur was once again positioned himself a bit too aggressive. The Locust will get a bit of value here. He also took Locust Brood, which is the wrong talent. I definitely agree on that one. I think the shield speed would be so much more useful here. Did he tunnel back first? I don't think he did. I think he's just going to be in this bush when he comes out, and I once again believe he may have got himself killed. Falstad going to fly back. Butcher going to get stuck. Falstad thinking about turning around. Nope, he is in fact going to retreat, and Abathur is in fact in the risky position. If the enemy team were paying attention, they'd see the Locust here, and they'd realise that Abathur is there. However, they appear to have not. Abathur getting lucky here. The enemy team not paying enough attention and being back. However, mid-keep was picked off. Johanna, this is your job. Johanna. Nope. Okay, well, the core's going to take a lot of damage here. Mercenaries are capped here. Cork still taking damage. Abathur will have to be the one to clear that off. Once again, good focus by blue team onto the support. This time Storm Shield, though, will keep Brightwing alive at least a little longer. And once again, Johanna with the great falling sword, putting herself in a good position. Wombu vaulting away from the initial threat. And even though they're playing very far apart, very split, it's an okay fight for the red team, but that's what happens when you stay split. Butcher called out of position here. Now Brightwing once again putting himself in danger. Gust uses a disengage here because they are down a hero. And once again, catapults are beginning to make their way to the core. 82% to 100. Not enough attention being paid here. Once again, Kenpachi has moved in. Once again, Locust talents with no Locust upgrade. The Siege is what makes the Locust good. Taking them at this level, I personally think is a bad idea. Catapults, though, beginning to burst through the shield. Once again, more damage being done to core. Not enough attention being paid to this. And this is where these Locust talents from Aberford would come in useful, not try to siege a lane where the keeper's already dead. He should really be in the base, about here-ish, right next to the core, so he's not picked off, doing some good sieging potential for his team, some good counter siege potential for his team. Blue team picking up the boss, doing a fantastic job here. 4v5? Is it 4v5? What's they upset about? I assume because of the butcher. But either way, excuse me. But that's fine because blue team aren't capitalizing on their opportunity here. They have a boss and they have already done some damage to this bot lane. They should really be with this boss, counter-pushing it and leaving one person behind to kill this off. They're not doing that though, and as such, red team are going to be able to clear this up very, very quickly, and that's completely fine. So they'll be able to deal with that. However, this does give blue team a good opportunity for the nukes, but they could have put more pressure onto this. They could have damaged red team a bit and then moved in for the nukes, which would have meant red team spending more time clearing out all of this. Also, you do not need 3 people to take this camp. You could have very easily had one person down here clearing this up, and even one person in base clearing this up. Aberfur and Falstad, once again, both having the same idea. Lack of communication. Pinging is a good idea. Ping on the way. It is holding down G and dragging to the right. That is how you ping that you are on the way. Ariel with a very interesting position in terms of dropping that nuke here, and as such will get punished. The Aegis is dropped, but she's being zoned away from her team. The Lance of the Saucer is dropped on all of the other members, and Ariel, though, still escapes. Good positioning by her team to drop some good health there. Gust is used to save the team. That's very nicely done. Now they can turn around onto Dom, who pushed once again too aggressively. Now Butcher too aggressively, thanks to once again the disengage and the double stun from Muradin, getting some really decent value here. And that's probably going to be GG. There's enough nukes here to just end the game. But nicely played here. Once again, over-aggression right at the end is what really ended that for both teams here. And the core goes down. So there you guys go. That is GG. And some stuff I would change. We're going to pause here at the end so we could go over some of the talents without going to an end-game screen, so we can actually talk about them a bit more in detail. So some of the talents that I really disagreed with, kind of, I don't think Juggernaut was necessary. I personally think the shield talent would have been great because, look at this, Indestructible would have just been wiped by that shield burst talent that Varian could have got there, and he could have got so much more value as the melee assassin for his team here. Ariel did a really good job but missed a couple Aegises. Needs to be a bit more on point with that because they can be used to stop bosses being stolen. And that happened twice. So you need to be more careful. Or nearly happened twice. It did happen once. Butcher played too aggressively. This is what every Butcher does and why he's personally, I think, not a good draft pick. He could have really been swapped out for a Thrall or a Chen or anything really just to fill that role. He was in my opinion, not the correct pick here. He's just a little bit weaker. Like, yes, Lance of the Slaughter and Mighty Gust helps, but not when you have heroes who are just staying so grouped together, because you're very unlikely to hit the hero you want with that Lamb to the Slaughter. Aberfur picked the wrong talents, 100%. Like, this is fine. Everything up to here is fine. This I kind of agree with, but he should have not picked these Locust talents. They were not necessary. He could have got more value. If he really wanted to keep that Butcher alive, he could have easily taken the Shield talent for his ultimate evolution on this level. It's not hugely used, but it could have kept Butcher alive a bit more, or even kept Falstad alive a bit more to get more value out of that Giant Killer. Falstad, completely fine. No argument on the talents whatsoever. Brightwing, still fine. Once again, she did a pretty decent job overall, but a cleanse might have been necessary, especially with Muradin and Varian. That Warbringer is strong. So cleanse may have been a bit better here. Yes, I know Mystified is it's a very much a bait talent. It seems like it should be strong. Cleanse is more useful. You should definitely always practice cleanse and keep running that as best as you can, because the majority of Blue Team's kills came from stuns. Not a huge amount of issues with Johanna's talent tree here. She went very counter CC, and it worked out for her pretty nicely. It worked out. But I think if you're going to go with Amplified Healing, then this talent can probably be taken up by the I can't remember which level it's on, one of these two. Can be taken up by the heal talent that Johanna can get a little bit later on. And Butcher, I personally believe the majority of his talents are fine, but I think you can get a bit more value out of some charge stuff. But I'm not an expert on Butcher. I'm not going to talk a huge amount about that. Li Ming, I still like the burst. They're playing with the Brightwing pretty close, and she got some great value, some great seeding potential, which was fine. Asmodan, he split pushed, and then he joined his team when he needed to, where they got great teamfight potential because the variant did work. The Ariel also really, really nice. Righteous Assault, probably not necessary, but I guess they were trying to just get the value out of the Binding Flash, which did work, so good call on that. Like normally you see the extra radius, which is, the extra speed. which is the more better one for building stacks. But for this, a very interesting choice and a very good choice. I completely missed that at the start. So good job, Ariel, for adjusting your build a bit. Energized Cord, just making sure that she could get more stacks, more healing done, which was fine. And the Will of Heaven was for Varian, just to get him at the huge value, where he did some serious work. Muradin, yes, he got value out of Piercing Bolt. I think he could have got a bit more value being the tank for his team that could have just been a bit more efficient in terms of killing off the Butcher. So Piercing Bolt, yes, but I personally think didn't really work here, especially seeing as he still skipped out on healing talents. He could have probably got away with it if this had been crowd control and this had been healing static, because then he still would have got the double he still would have got the double stun, and he would have still been able to get the huge amount of healing. He did survive. He did a very good job, but I personally think it would have been fine, and this should have 100% been block. But overall, really solid job by the Muradin. The Muradin played exceptionally and did really well with the talents he was given, but this game would have been over a lot quicker. I personally think if Muradin hadn't nearly died in a couple of situations and been forced to back up. He had 2 deaths and a huge amount of damage taken, but he could have tanked so much more. Look at how much Johanna tanked with her mostly sustaining talents, whereas Muradin, his talents don't really match up. They don't really work. They're sort of split pushing talents, which don't really match up to his build at all. Heavy Impact, though, really solid. He was able to get some good CC. With the Piercing Bolt combined, he was locking people down all day, which once again is a punishment for Brightwing not picking Cleanse. Overall, I think this was a really solid game for a gold game, which gold is a really high level thing here, but I think a couple of the things the skill level was really solid here. Very happy with everything that everyone did, but the biggest mistakes overall, I think, were talents. Lack of cleanse is a big one. That is definitely something that could be called. Muradin could have ended this game so much quicker if he'd been a bit more sustaining, been able to hold the line for his team. And Butcher should not have been picked at all. So, he should have been picked, but if you want to build a Butcher team, you should build around it and have burst follow-up. Falstad is not burst follow-up in this case, and you shouldn't have had the Abathur probably in this case, I would say. Like, double Butcher's cool, but you need so much coordination to pull it off. So there you guys go. I've ranted for a little bit too long on this one, but this is how I intend to do them. Very much more educational stuff for the replays you send in. Overall, Wombu, fantastic play. Thank you for sending in this replay. You did a really solid job here. Your gusts were pretty on point every single time, so really good call for that. And your talents were good. So huge congratulations. Thank you for sending in your replay. And if you want to be like Wombu and send in your replays, whether it's good or bad. If it's bad, I will give you commentary on it, and I will give you advice on how to improve. If it's good, I will praise you. So that's how it works. That's how praising works. If you do well, you're rewarded. If you do bad, then you should teach them how to not do it again. That's how you should do it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching. If you want to send in your replays, you can send them into replays@tetcher.co.uk. There is a link to that in the description. I have been Tetcher. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.